So growing up, my mom and my dad, I was an only child. My mom and my dad fought a lot, and I was their primary target growing up. No matter what I did, good or bad or indifferent, my mom and dad took all their anger out on me. So as a young child, I never felt love, I never felt cared for, I never felt any kind of good feelings as a child should have. So lo and behold, throughout my childhood life, I was beat as a child real bad. Teachers would always ask me what was wrong. And my mom and my dad would just tell me I fell off my bike or something like that. When my parents separated, my dad picked me up on his motorcycle and took me over to an interstate gas station. And I asked if I could go get something to drink out of the snack machine. I tripped over the center island. My dad carried me back to my mom and said, "Here's your son," and left me there. My addiction began here in Atlanta before I left to move to Wilmington Island to be closer to my mom. Drinking real heavily, straight Crown Royal all the time, in and out of pool halls because that's how I made a living. Got in the car business, and when I jumped into the automotive industry, that's how I found drugs. There was no halfway point for me. I didn't go a quarter of the way in. I didn't go half the way in. I jumped in with all in. I did it every day for 21 plus years. I was doing anywhere between 4-6 grams of cocaine a day in the very, very beginning of my addiction. And the only way I would level my head out was to drink. I ended up being a thief to everybody around me, and I just wanted people to hang out with me. That's all I wanted. So whatever I had to do to get to that point, I did. The wrong crowd, yeah. The right crowd was there as well. I just masked it. No one knew. Customers that did business with me had no clue. And then it got even worse when I met my now wife, Jamie, and her son, Austin. I masked it from her. I hid it from her for a long time. My life deteriorated really quick about 10, 12 years into it. I would act like I would quit, and I wouldn't. So this whole time, I've done it my way. I've never done it any other way, my way. My plan, my actions, my thought process got me nowhere. I was a liar to my wife. I was a liar to my kids. I was a thief to them.
What was that? What was that? He lied to you? What?
He lied to me that he was not going home early.
So I've done this whole addiction thing wrong every time. My wife was done with me. My addiction, I carried my children around and bought cocaine with them. If I went to jail, I got in trouble and I went to jail, my wife wanted nothing to do with me. She left me there. Wouldn't receive a phone call. My kids didn't want nothing to do with me. Through that, I continued to lie, to tell Jamie I'd do whatever I had to do to make it. I wasn't coming home. I had to go somewhere, so I went to No Longer Bound. The first 5 months of my program, I manipulated and lied my way straight through it. Graham Skinner told me, "Why do you want to come here?" And I told him, I said, "Because I love my kids." He looked me in my eye and told me, "You're a liar." I'm standing here today knowing different, but through the last 5 years of my life, the plans that I've taken on in my life have not been mine. I've given it to something greater and much more powerful. For the past 5 years of my life, I've lived it by one plan and one plan only, and it's his. I'm a restored person to my wife. I'm a restored person to my children. I'm a person in the community that's looked up to. I'm involved with some of the greatest people in the world that don't look at my past as something that they're ashamed of. It's my story. I live by a certain scripture that Jeremiah 29:11 says is, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope in a future. So I've quit the plans by me, living for somebody else. And I live by my God's plan, my word, that he knows I serve him to everything I do. I got this tattoo because it's a daily reminder to me of where I've been, what I've come through, and what I'm doing in my world. Every day, I can look at it and know these are his words. This is a promise that he gave me. And so it's inked in me forever. It will never, ever come off my skin. September 24th, 2019, I will celebrate, and I will celebrate 5 years free and clean of any alcoholic beverage, any narcotic, or any illegal substance that's ever been put in anybody's body.